G'day guys, welcome back to Total War Attila. Today we are going to get started on our next campaign. So we're going to do a grand campaign again, and I have no idea what we're doing, but let's put some thought into this. This is just the intro video, so we're just going to have a look at what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve and our faction in general. And then next video we'll get started from the start and see how we go. So we've done a lot of different things, and this time we might do a barbarian kingdom. Alright, so we've got a few to choose from. Now, I was going to do the Saxons, and the Saxons are probably going to be a safe bet. We get a capital to start with, and that's probably going to be pretty useful. I'm also thinking of just doing a minor victory campaign, because the longer these campaigns go on, the more boring it gets. The campaigns are the most interesting and most exciting when things are balanced at the start, and playing on Legendary, it makes for a pretty interesting start. Later on it gets boring as hell. I've done Total Annihilation a few times, and it's fun to kill everybody and stuff, but yeah, the battles are better at the start, so we might do a few minor victory campaigns. Anyway, so we've got the Saxons to players, or we can do the Langobards. Now, what benefits do we get? Nothing much. The Bun, whatever the hell you call that is, no, thank you. Saxons, yeah, we know that. The Elements, again, you get a capital, I think. For some reason we couldn't play the Elements. If we play the Elements, we could attack south and take on Rome, which could be pretty interesting. Playing as the Saxons, we could still attack south and go after Rome, but it's probably better off to go after Rome over in Britannica and stuff. Which kind of makes me want to play the Elements more, because it would be fun to take Italy again, but then we won't push south anymore after taking Italy. We'd push back north, and yeah, that could be cool. But also, saying that, if we do that, the way the AI is programmed in this game, if you go to war with the Romans, everyone else will be friendly with you, so no one will attack you, which would mean that I could just power through Rome and then go up and turn on everyone else, which would be pretty easy. It depends what their victory conditions are as well. Playing as the Saxons, I'm going to turn on my allies, which could be a lot of fun. And we'd be at war with pretty much everybody, which could be fun. Maybe we can just do that. Maybe we just go to war with everybody and see how long we can survive. That could be pretty cool too. The Franks, well, yeah, the Franks are also a possibility, but I'd rather get a settlement to start with. So that leaves us a choice. Either we play as the Elements, we go and attack Rome, which seems pretty easy. And then we can turn north and attack everyone else, which seems pretty easy. Because by then we'll control Italy and just be able to do whatever we want. Playing as the Saxons and declaring war on everybody could be fun. We're going to do that. We're going to play on Legendary because it makes it interesting at least. And yeah, what benefits do we get? We get building conversion rate 50%, that's great. And income 100 for every 10% damage caused to a settlement during a battle. No, that doesn't work in this game. You don't siege a city and burn cities down ever. And plus 100 is not really worth it. I'm guessing that's 100 gold, but that's not worth it. Plus 4 integrity when raiding. I never raid. I probably should raid, but it's not beneficial really. So that's all useless. I'm really looking forward to Warhammer. That's going to be sick when it comes out. Anyway, what else are we going to look at? Victory objectives. Minor victory. That's what we're going to aim for. Maybe we might do military victory if it's still interesting. But yeah, we're just going to try and keep this really interesting and have some really good battles. That's all I want, is good battles. I don't want to drag this on forever like the other campaigns where I just burn everything down and destroy everybody, because it's fun, but it gets a bit stale and repetitive. Okay, so minor victory. We have survive until 425 at E. That should be piss easy. Well, it might not if we declare war on everybody, so we'll see what happens with that. And control 30 settlements, either by direct ownership or through blah blah blah. Yeah, that should be pretty easy. Maintain control over Britain Superior. Okay, that means we need to go to Britain. And Fresca, I'm pretty sure that's where we start. So again, pretty easy. I mean, getting Britain Superior is going to be a piss of piss. Rome will be completely screwed by then. Loot. Or sack 2 different settlements. Again, easy. 10 technologies, easy. Raiding. Okay, we actually have to raid then, so I guess that benefit comes into action. And maintain 6 units in total. Again, easy. So we're going to play this one properly too. I normally don't screw around with any of the political stuff because I think it actually fucks the game up, and 9 out of 10 times it will, so we'll see if it happens again. Generally, if you start doing a lot of diplomatic things, the game seems to crash a lot. So we'll see if that happens. Campaign settings we'll look at quickly. No advisory help, we don't need that crap. Show IR moves. We'll go full. Auto saves the cloud. Well, we're playing on difficulty, so that's not going to happen. We're playing on did I say difficulty? We're playing on legendary difficulty. Battle realism mode, we have no choice. And 60 minutes in the battle, that's good enough. Okay, so this seems like a good idea. Let's jump in and have a look at what units and stuff we've got. Watch a campaign video because they're boring. We're doing it properly. Okay, let's watch that shit when we do the next start, and we'll just start from the beginning sort of thing. I suppose you're meant to play this game properly, and I suppose better. We should listen.
The air was filled with smoke and blood.
How can the air be filled with blood?
Weak.
Okay. I should finish this. I should play this whole campaign while drunk. It'd be so much more fun.
The tribes grew in strength and number. Their roots went deep, and they felt the earth's blood pounding through the land.
Okay, that's great.
But their borders were threatened, for a great storm raged in the east.
The Huns. Oh, it's gonna be fun. We can attack Attila early on. That'd be different. I've never attacked Attila early on.
One by one, the tribes scattered as seeds in the wind. And behold, a red horse. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Where's this red horse I hear of?
Their kin would be avenged.
I'm gonna have so much fun with this campaign. It's gonna be awesome.
Great hunters, they tempered their blades in Roman blood.
But we're not attacking the Romans. That's not even... Well, it's kind of part of my campaign. I suppose if Britain's controlled by the Huns to start with, they're going to lose it pretty quick. Every intro video is the same shit. It's just a different faction that's going to kill the Romans.
The South is in turmoil.
Ooh, the South's in turmoil.
Distracted by petty conflict and the westward migration of the Huns.
Uh-huh.
Therefore, you should look elsewhere for opportunities. Rome has all but lost its grip on Britannia, ever threatened by Celtic aggression. So you should have no trouble establishing a presence there.
Nope, we should do this piss easy.
A long cold creeping from the north.
Yeah, climate change is a bitch. We get ya. Alright. Mission issued. Yes, be survive until 400 to get 200, 2000. Is that it? Alright, let's just go through and have a look at everything. So, objectives for the chapter, which is 5 years. Loot and sack 3 different settlements. Research the following technology. Yes, yes, yes. Maintain 10 naval... No, I'm not going to maintain 10 naval units. Kiss my ass. Be at war with the Franks. Yeah, I'm pretty going to wipe them out. And hold the following settlement. Down here. Okay. Well, I was going to go for Britain, but you want me to go for that instead. Alright. So we've got an army here, which... Maybe we throw some mercenaries in it, it could be pretty good. It's got a lot of skirmishers, not a lot of infantry, but it might be enough to attack Rome. I'm pretty sure there's probably going to be nothing there. We'll have a look. We're not going to attack anything. Yeah, Cambridolum is... Oh yeah, we're going to win that. We'd win that one easy. Alright, so we'll just encircle. We're not going to do it. So we could get a foothold on Britannia, which would be piss easy. I'm not worried about it getting through there at all. We could attack the northern tribes, which could be fun, the Celts and whatnot. Alright, and then with our other army, we're going to take control of... I think this is Frisca. Yep, Frisca. So we'll wipe out the Franks really quickly, because we'll do that before they get too strong. Where's the other city? Okay, we've got to wipe out the Angles. Again, that should be pretty easy. We'll just find out which one's more friendly and go after the other. Right. We've got our another army here. We can build that up a little bit. We've got obviously our capital, which is going to help us. So, since it's a strategy game, we need to think of a strategy. And that's going to be our strategy. One army is going to take Cambridolum. We're going to push through and get Britain Superior. We've then got the island. We're going to be pretty safe, I think. So we can push through the north, which could be pretty fun. And then we can take Frisca from the Angles and the Franks. We can push up and wipe out the Danes and the Jutes and the Geats. Yep, there we go. We can wipe out those guys. Again, that's another region we can take, which will help us quite a lot. I don't know. The other thing is we could just go to war with everybody. We could forget about Britain for a little while. And we'll just declare war on everyone immediately. That means we'd have to keep an army defending our capital while we take out the Franks. And then we'll do everything else, which could work. I don't know. We'll have a think. And yeah, I don't know. Well, we suppose we need to think about that now. So we declare war on everybody, and we'll probably be in a world of shit, to be honest. But let's have a look. Who do we know? Who's going to attack us? There's not a lot really to worry about. I'm willing to do that. I'm going to declare war on everybody. So we're not going to go after Cambrian Dolum to start with. We're going to bring this army back and attack the Franks. Hopefully. We'll see if we've got enough troops. We're going to attack the Franks, and we're just going to declare war on everybody. It's not going to be a fucking total war campaign where you have to declare war on everybody every time, because I'll probably get lazy and forget to do it. I'm just going to declare war on whoever I meet, whenever I meet them, roughly, and it should be pretty fun. So we've got our capital. That could give us some really cool siege battles if they try and siege our capital and stuff. So we've got that. Now we're just going to go through the rest. So democracy doesn't really matter at the moment. The Angles are pretty friendly with us, but we're going to burn them pretty quick. Unfortunately, we're trading with them, which is going to hurt our income. So we'll see what happens with that. Unit recruitment. We can get some pikes. Pikes are actually pretty badass. I'd rather get hurlers than archers, and warhounds can kiss my ass. Saxon spears will probably be alright. Nordic levy are pretty garbage. Well, they're better than Saxon spears apparently. Okay. We'll look at the units in a second. While we're here, we'll go on to the next one. Have a look at technologies quickly. What do we got with technologies? Normally I just focus on military, especially when I'm playing as the Romans. I never do any civic, but it's probably worth doing some civics with these guys. I'm pretty sure all these civic buildings give military units, don't they? Religion, well, I'm playing this properly, so I suppose I'm going to have to focus on religion. Steel forge, military wharfs. I'm just looking. Yeah, so like the tavern is a tier 3 building, and that will give us better units. So we sort of have to do civic buildings as well, which is pretty cool. So we're definitely going to do that. Bonus supplies, we get +1 public order from doing the first tier. That's always useful. Some sanitation, some wealth, and +5 food. Well, that's garbage. This, if we go down the military, recruitment costs, that's garbage. Campaign movement, that's garbage. Recruitment capacity, that's pretty crap. And integrity campaign, that's all crap. Alright, so there's no point really finishing the tiers, except for the first 1 or 2 maybe. For civic, the rest I don't really care about. But we'll pick and choose and work out what we need. We'll do that in the game though. There's no point doing that now. Treasury, well, we don't care about that at the moment. Objectives, we've been through that. For minor victory, we know what we need. And that's basically at Frisca and Britain Superior and kill 30 tribes or whatever, burn a few cities and whatnot. I meant to sack some cities, like loot and sack. What about loot and occupy? That's probably the same thing, so hopefully that works out. And raiding, well, I better remember to do some raiding. If not, I'll just do it at the end. At least this time I'm paying attention to that shit and it can't backfire. Religion, well, the Franks and the Angles will both be Germanic paganism, which I think that's what we are. Where's my religion? Yeah, Germanic paganism. They should both be Germanic paganism, so we won't have to worry about religion early on. There's no religion cause in the minor victory, is there? No, so we actually don't have to worry about religion. If we're doing a cultural, there probably is. Let's have a look. Nope. Research 16. Civ technologies. Yeah. Hold at least 1 settlement in 10 provinces. Oh wow, that's actually quite a lot. So that means you'd have 30 provinces in total if you did that. And you need at least one settlement in each with your religion is dominant. Well, that can kiss my ass because I'm not even doing that. We might do a military if it's still interesting, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Faction, quickly. So we're going to focus on our family line and hope the game doesn't crash. We're also going to throw in officers. So I've got companion, which gives us pretty much garbage. Alright. Elder, more garbage. Judge, +5 public order from governed provinces. So obviously you want to throw governors in there, which is kind of hard because they need to keep being promoted. +2 tax, that's pretty useful. Tribal chief, it's garbage. Warlord, integrity, you don't experience, more crap. High judge, -6 upkeep costs. So you'd want your best guy in there. With your biggest army and best army, you'd want him in there. And you could always just change around the generals in the armies to make sure that your high judge is commanding the army. Family line wise, well, we've got some sort of a line happening. This guy, we could probably find him a wife. How much integrity have you got? Is that what we're speaking about? No, that's your age. Influence. Okay, influence is what you spend, is it? Alright, so we'll find him a wife at some stage. Got some other nobles, we've got some candidates and whatnot, so we'll deal with that. There's nothing else we really need to look at the moment. Okay, so that's all that. We'll try and improve our family tree. Yeah, what else we got to look at? Apart from the encyclopedia and looking at our units, that's probably it for now. We've got our plan. We're going to just declare war on whoever we want as soon as possible and try and expand as quick as possible. And yeah, hope we should be able to get to minor victory before 425 AD, and that's my plan. I want to get everything I need for minor victory before 425 AD so that we can just sit there and let the turns roll over and achieve that, and then we'll see what we're going to do from there. Alright, let's look at the encyclopedia and see what units we get, because that's what this game's about, your units. Oh yeah, we've got to look at buildings too. Should probably do that at some stage. Units, and then the Saxons here. Now we're playing on legendary, but it's really not any different to playing on easy, to be honest. The difficulty thing in this game doesn't scale properly, and it's always piss easy. All right, so unit wise, first things first, melee infantry, and we've got 13 to choose from, which is pretty badass. I'm sure some of these are generals units, which chieftain of Jedit or whatever the fuck that is. Obviously that's a general's unit, I'm assuming. Chosen warriors aren't. Elite Nordic warriors aren't. Okay. Alright, so we're going to ignore warhounds because I don't really see the point in them. Nordic warlords, Nordic warriors, raiders. Okay, raiders could be pretty... Raid leaders could be pretty badass. Nordic axe warriors would be pretty fucking awesome, I think. We don't seem to get Germanic axemen for whatever reason. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, these guys could be bloody awesome. That's the one thing I missed when I was playing as my Roman units, that we didn't have any axe units. Heath Guard will be pretty badass. Let's have a look at these guys real quick. So melee attack, yep. Yeah, we have no armor, so we're very vulnerable to arrows. But if we go to war with the Romans, we'd smash their lines ridiculously easy. We've got some missile damage. They throw 2 axes, it looks like. And they're good units. I really want them as soon as possible. I'm sure we'll find what building they need eventually. And I just push back, and there we go, back work properly. You get Nordic Axe Warband. I think they're they're an earlier unit than those Nordic Axe Warriors and stuff. So there's some pretty cool units. This should be fun. A lot of spear infantry too. When it loads, there we go. So Saxon spears are an early unit, Nordic spears are an early unit. Apparently Nordic spears are better than Saxon spears. Depends what testudos and stuff they've got, if they've got shield wall and whatnot. Nordic spear masters that sound pretty good. Nordic levy, actually, no, we get Saxon spears and Nordic levy. Nordic spearmen are later. Elite Nordic spearmen and elite spearmen. Okay, so obviously we'll pick between all that at some stage. Missile infantry, Now, do we get ballistare or crossbows? No, we get skirmishers, hurlers, bows. No. Alright, so javelins, they're good for city defense. And if I have a city that's under attack, I'd probably grab a few. Bows are useful in certain situations, but hurlers kick ass in all situations. So probably going to get hurlers. Next, we have melee cav. I mean, javelins are good, but they only get a few shots, and you have to get bloody close, which doesn't always work. Cav-wise, we've got Saxon mounted warband, Nordic mounted raiders. Raiders are good for attacking and burning shit when you're attacking a city. I think warband are probably going to be generally better. Heroic cav and horse swords. One of those is probably a general unit. I'm not going to look into it right now, but I'm assuming that one of them isn't, so later on we can recruit them. And they'll be pretty useful. We don't have... we do have some shock cav, actually, if you look further down. So we'll keep going. Next, we've got some pikes. We've just got the standard pike unit. Looks like... Yep, Nordic pikes, which are very useful. And so, yep, we'll definitely get some of them. Siege artillery, it's going to be an Oniga. I'm not even going to bother with that. Missile cav. Ooh. Oh, these are going to be skirmishers, aren't they? Nordic raiders. Yeah, no, thank you. Don't really need them. Shock cav. Saxon lancers. Okay, they're going to be useful yet again. More to probably kill the general. We're going to play the battles properly, and by playing the battles properly, I mean we're just going to try and kill the general as soon as possible and win the battle that way to minimize losses. And in honesty, that's probably how they do it back in the old days, and that's the best way to win these games. So we're going to, yeah, like minimize losses means we can attack more, and the army doesn't need replenishment time. So we'll play it properly, kind of, if that's properly, and there we go. Melee ships I don't care about, fire ships, ramming ships, and missile ships I don't care about. We will probably build a little navy. I'm not a huge fan of naval battles because they take forever and there's nothing really interesting to watch. But yeah, so we've seen the units. We've got a lot of melee infantry. We'll get hurlers in all the armies and some cav pikes, yes, as well. They should be pretty cool. We don't get large onigas, I don't think. We'll just have a quick look. Oh, we do get large. It says I get... Oh no, siege artillery 3. Okay, my bad. So we do get large onigas. Bastion onigas are obviously the city ones, and the small onigas are there as well. Alright, large onigas are pretty lethal. I don't think we're going to get that far into the game either, though. So, we'll see what happens. Alright, that's it for that. Let's have a look at buildings, because this is going to be the headfuck of the century. Alright, we'll look at the minor civ, or the town buildings as well, because we're obviously going to take all of this. Alright, so small city, we have our city. As usual, it's probably not super beneficial to push too far down this because you're going to burn through food for no reason. So we've got our small city at the moment, which is a tier 2. If you go to a tier 3, we get one extra public order and 2 extra growth, which is not even worth it. An extra 100 wealth, again, not worth it. Road development, extra 2, not really worth it. They both have basic walls. And yes, the garrison is better, but it's still not probably worth the extra food when you can just buy another army ridiculously easily. Alright, next we have our first building slot, and we'll just go through now and see what we could build. Looks like we've only got a few options to choose from, really. So we've got 6 options. The last one being furs, which is a city specific thing. So 5 options to choose from, generally. Now we have our city communal grounds. I know we sit and plan this out really well. I don't really think I need to. I'm sure I can work around it. Basically, we just need as much food and as much money as possible. And I guess we need some religion, but probably not. Alright, so there's 2 roads we can go down. We can go down meeting hall or market. So market's money, meeting hall's probably public order. We have great halls. I'm also looking at what units I can get. We have taverns, no extra units. They both use the same amount of food. One gives public order and extra research. I'm not too concerned about research. The other gives squalor, but more public order. Okay. Immigration penalty, I don't care about that. What about money-wise? That gives 500, that gives 1,000. Okay. The next one is the Warlord's Hold. 50 food, which is the same as everything else. 10 public order, 50 wealth, but we also get champions, which could be beneficial because we're going to do this properly. We're going to get some champions and some spies. We get Heathguard, which are badass units, kind of. Alright. So at the moment, like public order, it's 3 different. It's not the end of the world. Wealth's 500 different. That again isn't the end of the world. All right. There's no reason we couldn't build both of these as well, by the way. If we go to Elders Hall. All right, we're not going to go down the route of Great Hall, Elders Hall. I don't need the research. The public order's not great, and the wealth's not that great. The only thing we get is Heroic Cav if we go down that route, but I'm sure I can make do without that. We get Chosen Warriors and Nordic Spearmasters. Okay, and 17 public order, 650 from culture, immigration penalty. That just means you don't get the unhappiness from taking over a city. Warlords Keep, 13 public order. I mean, that's actually worse. The Warlord's worse than the Median Hall. That gives 17 public order. The Squalor we can override pretty quickly. And again, the same units. So, unless you're going to go for the castle, which gives you extra army recruitment capacity, extra champions and all that shit, which 150 food is not worth that. I am honestly going to go for the Mead Hall. More public order, more wealth, a bit of squalor. I can deal with the squalor. And same units either way. That one gives you a garrison of 1 Heathguard unit. I'm not super concerned about that. And champions, I'm not super concerned about. I'm sure I can get them some other way. Alright, so Mead Hall's a good safe bet with that. Now, we'll have a look at the market stalls as well. Obviously, the market stalls are a good way to get income and spies. So we'll probably throw one of those in. Trade depots. This basically comes down to money and food. If we go with the fairgrounds and trade depot, we get extra food and money. If we go with the slave trader, we just get extra money and wealth from buildings. They both cause the same amount of squalor and public order penalties. If we go with the amber trader, we need gems and it's a lot of extra money. You get no food, but it's a lot of money. And road development. If we go after the Alemans, we get their gems from their city. The Aleman capital has gems. So that's an option, but I think I'd go with the fairgrounds. That extra 60 food and the 1,000 from wealth is pretty good. And we're not going to have a giant empire if we're only going for minor victory, so we're not going to tax too heavily. So I'm pretty sure we're going to go with the fairground and a mead hall. You got to look at this shit because it does help. All right, sanitation wise, we have a granary, which gives 5 sanitation and extra food. We want some form of food in our capital, and the extra sanitation never hurts. So at the moment we can get a tier 2, which is pretty good. If we do a bit of research, we can get a tier 3 and 4 and whatnot. So again, that could be a pretty safe bet. Now religion, which is going to be interesting. See, religion's just not worth it. 60 food for 4 public order is not worth it. In my capital, I'm not going to build a religious building. I don't need one. This is all going to be Germanic paganism. The Franks and the Alemans are both Germanic paganism, so I don't need a religious building. Later on, maybe, but again, the penalty isn't that severe. I mean, if I build this building, I get +4 public order and +4 influence. But I could use that building slot to throw in a warrior's keep as well as a mead hall. So I could have both of these. And I get +13 public order, which will override any public order issues from religious differences. So religion's just not worth it. Anyway, artisans, well, we'll just have a look. If we go down the bone crafters one, it's squalor and public order for income. Might be worth it, might not. I'm probably better off again. I mean, you get 2,000 income from a tier 4. I might be better off just to throw a warlords in. I mean, depends on the food situation, but I'd rather get positive public order than negative public order. And if I do that, I get an extra 13 public order and some income. Then again, I could probably better off to also throw an amber market in. You only get -4 squalor and public order for 2,500. Yeah, if you do bone crafts, you get -8 squalor and 10 public order for only 2,000. Not worth it at all. No way we're putting bone crafters in. It's not happening. All right, next we have woodcarver. Like, that building's useless. I don't even know why they bother putting it in. There's no point. They're just trying to make it look cool. Woodcarver. Okay, that we need for onagers. We're probably going to struggle to buy onagers in these territories. So we may have to. Upgrading it to a tier 3, you get some extra money and you get some ammunition for public order and squalor. It might be okay, it probably won't be though. So we might just stick with a basic one. I mean, still get an extra 350. And we get Nordic bows, which we're not going to use, but you just get the onagers, which we will use. Smithy, again, we're going to try and play this properly, so we really would like a smithy in one of our territories. We're going to upgrade our units as best as possible. So first tier 2, we get, the tier 1 we get Nordic band and 300 income, which is pretty good. That'll pay for pretty much nothing, the 300, but it'll pay for something. Smithy, we get 350, we get Nordic axe warband, which we probably are going to need. Brigands we don't want. Steel forge, we get 5% armor and 5% weapons damage. Pretty good. Again, unfortunately, 3 squad and 5 public order. And then for the Smith's Guide, we get 10% weaponsmithing and 10% melee damage. Also some extra recruitment and 900. But 10 public order and 6 squalor, it's pushing it. I mean, we can throw the artisans in the towns, but it's a lot, and we also need to get iron, so that means we need to get Britain inferior, I believe, to get iron. Alright, continuing. We can actually build fields in our regions, which is kind of beneficial as well. So maybe we'll throw fields in instead of a food storage to get the sanitation, and we'll throw sanitation buildings in the towns instead. Alright, now when you're looking at farms, it just comes down to food, because climate change is going to set in and screw you over. So it's as much food as possible. Early on, yes, we would get 84 additional food from agriculture due to fertility, but that's going to burn pretty quick. On the other hand, we are only going to 425 AD, so climate change won't set in too bad for that. However, okay, so if we do irrigated fields, we'll just have a look quickly. No, the penalties are all the same. It's 4 squalor and -5 public order for both. For all 3, actually. So if we go for irrigated fields, we get 124 food in total. Wealth-wise, we get 305 in total. Some army recruitment, and if you go down that route, you get a lot of skirmishes, which is pretty crap. Okay. Goat barns. All right. If we go down that route, we get 106 food in total, 675 gold in total, and again you get skirmishes. Okay, really not impressed, but yeah, I mean, I might as well go down the goat barns, because the goat barns is going to give me more food long term. There's no reason to put irrigated fields in, so I can kiss my ass. And you get the same units, so why that's in the game, who knows. Next, we have livestock. So for livestock, we get only 40 food and 30 additional, so that gives us a total of 70. Wealth, we get 950. So again, that's going to go down with climate change, but 950 is pretty badass. Okay, and you get extra cav speed, which that's not great. Also, oh, you get the raiders and warband though, and the lancers. So it might be worth throwing one of those in. You don't get the most amount of food, but you do get a bit of money, which will go down with time, unfortunately. But you get the cav units that we really desperately need. Cav's everything in this game. Okay, that's going to be interesting. I mean, I'll probably throw in my towns, a goat barn and a livestock pen in each. I really should throw an irrigated fields in earlier than convert it, but I hate converting buildings. I think it's a waste of time. So I'd probably throw a livestock pen in, and that'll work pretty well. That's it for our buildings. That's pretty simple. We'll have a look at the town buildings though and see if they're any different. How do we do that? If we scroll down, there should be the town buildings below. Okay, well, we'll just go through. Ports are obviously ports. We're going to focus on fishing jetties because we need the food. Up here in the north, where we've got the Jutes, the Danes, the Geats territory, they all have docks. So maybe one food and the rest can do trade ports or wharfs or whatnot, and jetties and everything. And that way we'll get a bit of extra income as well. Sanitation. Okay, town waterworks. So in the towns, we have wells. Towns are probably going to be all built the same. They're probably going to have 2 farms or 2 sources of food. If it's got a dock, it'll be a food source, and then we'll just throw a farm in. And the last one's probably better off to be sanitation. These don't give a lot of sanitation. Okay, so dikes only give +3 to all regions in the province. They give a bit of growth though, which is useful. But is that enough? It gives 4 sanitation to the town, +3 to all regions. So if we put a dike in each of the towns, that'll only give us +6 to the city. I mean, looking at that, a small city takes 1, so that means we've only got +5. If we don't build a granary, we're not going to get that extra sanitation. So, I mean, by the time we build some good farms, even if it only takes 2, okay, we're saying that we may not build farms in our capital, which I'm probably hoping not to. I'm hoping I can get enough food from those 2 in the towns, in which case maybe we're better off to build a granary. But, I mean, Warlord's Hold doesn't do anything. That's -3. So we only had 6, and 1 from that and 3 from that means we've only got 2 left. And then if we build a trade depot, that's 2 squalor gone. That means we are out of sanitation. So, yeah, we're going to build wells in our towns, but we also have to build the granary. We have no choice to get the sanitation good. So we'll make sure we always throw a granary in, it looks like. We do get the extra food from it, which is a bonus, which means we could probably piss off the farmstead. At the start, we need the farmstead, obviously, so we get some food. But later on, we can piss it off and throw something else in. That means we can throw 2 farms into each. We're going to throw a goat one and a livestock. So goat and pastures early on. Artisans, well, there's going to be no slots left. So 2 farms and a well means that we're not going to have anything left. We're not a migrating herd, so we don't have to worry about that. Settlements, well, we're not a migrating. The town settlement, now again, a tier 2 only uses 15 food, which is pretty good. It gives you the unlockment of Nordic pikes, Saxon spears, and warhounds. Okay, if you go further down, it doesn't unlock anything else. Barbarian cities are generally pretty weak, and yeah, it's not too expensive though. It's only 30 food for tier 3. So maybe tier 3s, I don't think I need tier 4s. They all have basic walls and stuff. Actually, no, they don't. The towns, they don't have walls. What was I thinking? Apparently tier 4s have walls. That's interesting. But, I mean, there's no point in spending an extra 30 food for a wall. Public order is not an issue. And +2 is not going to help. +2 growth is not going to help. And 250 is not going to help. So, it is only 15 food. We might do it just for the extra garrison units. But we also may not. We'll just depend. We'll see how food is. If I can speak. Next we have civic, so town communal. Now we can build chieftains, which they use 20 food for 7 public order. Again, we get Heathguard and chosen warriors and that. Okay, so it's going to use 150 food if we throw one of these in. I'd rather throw it in my capital, just because it'll be easier to manage, and that way I can throw just farms in all these. So I'm not interested in doing that. Industry is artisans, not going to throw anything in these. Military, that's for migrating. Religion, we've been through. Town, just going to have a quick look. So town religion gives extra growth, and in public order, again, it's not worth it for 3 food. Okay, and sanitation. All right, if we put this in, we get 3 sanitation in all regions. Okay, so +3. I still don't think that's worth it. I mean, Town Waterworks, for the best one, gives me +4, +5 sanitation for that town itself, and +9 growth. So religion can just be non-existent. It's not worth it. And resources, well, resources are dependent. So that's pretty self-explanatory. 2 farms in each, 1 sanitation. As for the capital, we throw a granary. We'll throw in preferably an amber trader if I can get the buildings. If not, I'm going to throw a trade depot and a tavern/mead hall in. Okay, if we're really low on food, we can throw an extra farm into these regions. There's not a lot really more I need in these regions. It's all going to be growth dependent, of course, so we're not going to have all the buildings early, but I mean, if I got a granary, trade depot and a tavern, I'm pretty happy. And that will be all the building slots once I capture everything and can get rid of the farm. Saying that, we might need the extra food and the income. So the best way to get extra income would be, if we work this out. Now, we're not going to get any extra public order really from the towns. We'll get a fraction, but it's not really anything worth thinking about. And if anything, that's all going to hurt us. So we need a lot of public order, and the best way we're going to get that, and probably the only way we're going to get public order, is through a tavern and a warlord's hold. But that's a lot of food. So the granary will balance out one of them. I mean, a tier 3 will give us 70 food. So that'll balance out one of them. Okay, because they're only about 50. We probably want to put a tier 4 in. All right. And if we put 2 of those in, we get 23 public order in total. I really don't think there's any point. I mean, heroic calves sound amazing, but I don't think I need them. The research rate I don't really care about, and it's only 9 public order in comparison to 13 and 17. And public order is everything. So what we're going to probably end up doing, we'll probably have a warlord's hold and a tavern. We may upgrade them if we can. For income, we'll have a trade depot or an amber trader, or like we might have a amber trader up north so that we get the extra money, but down south we'll have a trade depot so we can get the spies. There's nothing really urgently I need. It's going to come down to money, and I'm not building bone crafters because I'm not taking the bloody public order penalty. I'll probably end up throwing a granary, a meat hall, warlord's keep, fairground, which means we only have 1 slot left. I'm probably better off just to throw another fields in. So we'll probably throw another goat barn in. Yes, it's -5 public order in that, but it's extra food and it's extra income. So that's probably worth doing that. I mean, for 4 squalor and 5 public order, I mean, if we put a bone crafter in, we'd get a bit more money, but the extra food probably means we could upgrade our communal buildings to the next stage where we'll get even more public order and stuff. So I think it's worth doing that. The plan is always open to change though. Anyway, we better not let this drag on forever. We have a pretty good plan about what we're doing. So declare war on everybody. We know what buildings we're going to build in all of our regions. They're all going to be built basically the same as I always do. We will focus more on our family tree and shit this time. And yeah, we're not going to attack Camerodon. We're going to go straight after the Franks and piss off everyone we can to try and get some interesting battles. If I do that, we're going to have to keep a garrison in our capital, which is fine. We'll probably change this garrison a little bit, but we'll just make it our cheap units. I mean, Nordic Band are cheap as shit, and they're actually they're complete trash. There's not even point of having them. All right, we'll change them out for something. I didn't think they were that bad. That's not even worth it. It's not even worth 50. They wouldn't do any damage. I guess these guys will do some damage. I mean, they're worth 140, but God, it's better than those crap. Yeah, we'll just keep a garrison in there so we don't lose our capital, and then we can, with our other army, we can rampage. We'll do some raiding, and it should be a really fun campaign. Anyway, this has been going for 43 minutes of me talking non-stop. So we're going to end it here, guys. Thank you for watching. If you have any ideas for the campaign, let me know. We're going to get started on that in the coming days, and I'll try and record as much as possible so we can put out a video every day. I thought I'd just do a heads up for the campaign so that you guys can throw in your suggestions, and I'll get started on this in a few days, so it gives you guys some time to throw in your suggestions. Make sure you keep an eye out for it in the future, and yeah, thank you for watching as always. I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the campaign.